And more help from the Central Valley heading south to help provide the disaster relief during the wildfires. The Red Cross deployed 9 volunteers from Kern, Ventura, and Fresno counties. They'll be there to support the thousands of people staying in emergency shelters. The Red Cross says additional trained disaster workers from across Central and California they are on standby to help in the days and weeks ahead. PG&E is also monitoring the fires. The utility company dispatched 2 Black Hawk helicopters to Los Angeles to help in that firefight. Continuing our coverage of those wildfires now, and many people are scrambling to figure out what to do with their pets in the wake of the wildfires in LA County. Nick Cullen with the Kern County Animal Services joins us now to talk more about that. First of all, you were on this morning, Nick, and you and I were talking about, I asked you, does our shelter, can it take in any pets? And what was your response?
No, absolutely not. No, we are not in a position that we can take on any pets. And thankfully, though, there's quite a few organizations that have been stepping up statewide, taking on some of those pets, especially from the Pasadena Humane Society.
Well, that's good to hear. What can people do? Because I'm curious, like I'm sure people took their pets when they ran, their home is gone now, but where can they can't take their pets into hotels and stuff. It doesn't really work out. Does it go to the animal shelters?
Yeah, so I mean, I can tell you how our disaster response works in Kern County. You know, each municipality is going to be a little bit different, but I'm sure it's similar. But in our case, when there's a wildfire or a natural disaster, you know, the government comes in and they start scouting locations for an evacuation center for the residents. And it's usually going to be a school or maybe a VFW, someplace that's large enough to set up some cots and some food and supplies. And then one of the second calls that they make after they identify a location for the evacuation center is they contact the local animal welfare agency, especially the disaster response agency, which is us here in Kern County. And we deploy and we set up an emergency animal shelter that's usually adjacent to the human shelter. And so when a firefighter or a law enforcement personnel or first responder comes knocking on your door, telling you that, you know, fire is imminent and that you need to evacuate, you know, having the information available that I know that there's going to be an evacuation center, I need to know, hopefully in advance, where that evacuation center is and have confidence and faith that they also have a place for my pets. So having that information available in advance before they tell you to evacuate during evacuations is usually the best case scenario for you.
What do you say to people here in Kern County that are watching? What can they do for their pets now in case there's a fire in the near future?
You know, I mean, you say it too often, but you know, let's all hope and pray that you know, everybody makes it out safe and all the animals are well cared for and are reunited with their pet owners. But you know, there isn't too much that our county population can do to help out those folks other than you know, give our hopes and our prayers. Kern County Animal Services, you know, we are in communication with LA County Animal Services as far as a mutual aid request is concerned, and you know, we're monitoring the situation closely, and if they reach out to us and ask for assistance in providing care for some of those displaced animals, we'll head down there. But right now, you know, there's a lot of resources that are headed down south into the LA area to assist not only the pets and the animal owners, but the agencies that are providing care too. So,
Nick,
you know, donating to some of those organizations is always a good idea.
Let me ask you this. So I got a bunch of dogs and cats. I can probably feed them for 2 weeks good right now, but that's what I buy for, and every 2 weeks I'm prepared. Like if there's a fire here in Bakersfield or wherever we're in the mountain areas at Tehachapi, Grapevine, we have pets and stuff. Should we be stockpiling enough food for a certain amount of time? How do we do that? Like there's a fire, what do we take when we go?
Yeah, well, first of all, before I answer that question, Aaron, like there is no shortage of resources available online about how to prepare for a disaster when you have pets, domesticated pets. You can go to KernCountyAnimalService.org and we have a whole page that tells you how to prepare for a disaster. But to answer your question, yes, absolutely. We should be prepared now. Kern County is not immune. We're not unfamiliar with wildfires. We've had our share of wildfires. The Erskine fire in 2016, and a number of them since. Like it happens here. We should be prepared. And how do we prepare? We want to have go kits. You know, I talked about this morning. We want to make sure that our animals are familiar with our neighbors and our relatives, and that we have alternate locations potentially outside of the affected area that maybe we could take our pets to. Relationships with groomers, relationships with friends and family members who live in neighboring areas. That's a great idea. So in case you need to remove your animal from your facility and deliver it somewhere to care, you have that. You asked about food. Yes, you should actually absolutely have a stockpile of food. We recommend 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days worth of food, medications too. If your pets are on medications, you want to have about a 3 to 5 day fresh, not expired supply. Yes, that means those kits have to be cultivated occasionally. We here have supplies that we respond to, and we cultivate them twice a year. We make sure that everything has a good expiration date, and you should do the same. Leashes, collars, bowls, dog food, dry and canned, identification tags, current pictures of your animals. These are all things to think about now, because these fires may be affecting most of the folks in Southern California, but I think we all know here in Kern, we're never that far away from it affecting us.
Nicole, I appreciate that. If people need to reach out to the Kern County Animal Shelter, how can they do that?
The best way to get information, especially about disaster response, is go right to our website, kerncountyanimalservices.org. You know, there's a whole section in pet resources about how to prepare for a disaster. So, and you know, don't just take it from us. I mean, you could do a simple web search for disaster preparedness, and there's some really good websites out there. But being prepared is really going to help save your pet's life and help you get reconnected if you are separated.
All right, Nick Cullen for Kern County Animal Shelter. Thank you so much again for coming on.